Chill spots are spots where you run less of a risk of running into trouble and getting busted. And in doing this IRL Graff series, I've discovered a lot of chill spots lately. There's a lot of them out here in Asheville, and there's way more of them than I ever thought there was. But I have to tell you guys, not everything in a chill spot is chill. And there's a lot of very not chill stuff in chill spots. And for some of you guys watching these videos, you might not have ever hit a spot like this yourself. You've never seen one of these up close and personal. You don't know what's waiting for you. So I've decided, for the benefit of you guys that haven't been to a spot like this, that haven't been coming to spots like this for decades like I have, to just speak on these spots definitively, show you what's in them, show you what to look out for, and how to stay safe. And the first thing I do when I hit a new spot, or any spot, is just check out what's running. And for sure, if I see a roller shot like this one, that's gonna command my attention, and I'm gonna be paying attention to everything else that I see. And I can tell you guys, that is not a smart way to proceed. And even if I'm the one doing it, I can tell you, coming to a spot like this and looking around like you're in an art gallery, like you're in some protected, closed off space where nothing can harm you, is not the way to go. And when you hit a spot like this, the first thing that you need to find is all the ways in and all the ways out. And there's people who might feel like a spot that has one way in and one way out is the best way to go. And you're not gonna have anybody sneak up on you while you're vulnerable, especially if you have your back turned and you're painting a wall. But one way in and one way out is really good for defense, but it's not necessarily good for escape. And if you only have one way out of a place, you have something blocking your exit, you're gonna have to fight your way through, get past it. And if that's a person, that means fighting a person. If that's an animal like a bear, it means fighting a bear. And if it's the cops, that means fighting the cops, trying to fight with the police, and that can get your life taken. Also, this spot is right off the street, and I saw the cops pass by here not all that long ago. It didn't really seem like they were tripping off me being here. They weren't even looking in the direction of the spot to trip off anybody being here. That's definitely a good thing, and having two ways in and two ways out is a good thing as well. But this spot is a little exposed, and you're exposed if you're here doing your thing. But instead of telling you guys that that's the setup, how about I just show you what the entrances and the exits to this spot look like. As you guys can see, it's right here off the road, and it's very much accessible to the public. And I actually just chopped it up with a really cool dude from Vancouver. He just saw this spot right here. He specifically saw the skate spot, and he wanted to check it out, and we just had a quick little conversation. But if that dude can get to me, anybody can get to me, and that's something to keep in mind. And anytime that you're in a spot like this that is so accessible, you have to keep it in mind. But let's say I was here, I was bombing, I was doing my thing, and for whatever reason, there was a reason to leave. Just around the corner from there, there's a parking lot. You could be back in your car and you could be gone fairly soon. And there's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of back cuts in this neighborhood. I mean, look at this place. This is a cutty location, so you can find yourself in the cuts pretty fast. However, if you come out this way, you might have the cops already waiting for you. They might be waiting to have a conversation with you. And with you being so visible right here, being so exposed, yeah, you're probably not gonna be able to escape if the cops are right here on you. Naturally, this other exit is gonna be your best way to go because it goes further and further deeper just into this wooded area. As you guys can see right here, this is a neglected area. So that means folks aren't coming through here as much. And the people that are staying here for reasons other than screwing with graffiti writers. And by coming this way, just getting yourself off the path, you might be able to put some distance between yourself and the police. But in my experience, when you make the police run, it makes them very, very, very angry. The last time that I ran from the police was in the year 2002. I was with one of my good homeboys at Rossi Park out in the Richmond district in San Francisco, and we were burning a substance that maybe we didn't want the cops knowing that we were burning. Unfortunately, the cops pulled up and we ran. The good homeboy made it maybe half a block and gave up. I made it a little bit further, but when I started seeing hella cop cars come around the corner, I surrendered. It took the cop that was chasing me maybe 30 seconds to catch up to me, and then he pulled his pistol out and pointed it at my head and said that if I moved, he was gonna take my life. I thought, you know what, Connor? You really didn't need to run. You running made this situation way more serious, way more dangerous. I ended up having to go to court behind this, and thankfully it got dismissed. But ultimately, that's the chance that you take running from the cops. And in this spot, if you just ran through that whole area that we walked through, you're gonna end up somewhere that puts you even more on Front Street. You have to remember that the police have communications equipment and they can call for backup, and they will if somebody's running. And if you live in a smaller town, you can almost be guaranteed that every single cop in your town is gonna join this chase. Cops get bored just like everybody else, and when there's finally some action, everybody wants to be a part of it. So if you end up running from the cops in a spot like this, a situation that could have been relatively simple, you might not even gone to jail, you might just get a ticket, could end with you getting blasted or getting jumped by every single cop in your town. And to be honest with you guys, it's not worth it. And if it's not worth it to run, maybe it's not even super worth it to even come to a place like this in the first place. But other times you'll find indicators, including some subtle indicators, that a spot maybe isn't worth it. And let's go check out one of those spots right now. This spot that I'm walking up on has intrigued me for a really long time. There's a lot of Graff available right on the street level, just right on this wall facing the street. You got multiple pieces and throws. But as of yet, I haven't stepped foot into this spot. And if you're wondering why, it's those two bicycles that you see right there. Those bicycles are a sign that somebody's staying there right now. In the same way that you might park the whip right in front of the house for convenience sake, fools do the same thing with bicycles. They do the same thing with shopping carts. And for as long as I've been hitting spots like this for almost 30 years, I've understood that if somebody's in that spot, maybe it's a good idea to pick a different one. But there's other hazards that are kind of obvious when you look at this spot, and that one right in front of us is a giant falling hazard. And when you're doing your initial walkthrough in a spot, you need to look out for places like this. And it really goes without saying that you don't want to paint anywhere near a falling hazard, because you might have to get away, you might have to run, and you might run, fall, and break something and get busted on top of it. But now and probably always, your greatest danger in a spot like this is gonna come from other people. And back in the 90s, other riders were a great danger. You can come to a spot like this, find yourself boxed in with nowhere to go, no way to leave, and they take everything off you, including the clothes that you were wearing. But there's also something to be said about you not knowing how to hit up in a spot like this, going over somebody and creating some beef, and those fools catching up with you. And until you understand the natural order of Graff of what goes over what and when and why, don't even bother hitting a spot like this. But I can say, in a very isolated, set apart place like this one that already has a bunch of stuff in it that's proven to be a runner spot, you're not really gonna run into heroes. You have less of a chance of running into the police. But you have an absolutely great chance of running into people sleeping and living in these spots, just like the spot we just came from. And to anybody that wants to come to a spot like this but hasn't been to one, I would ask you, how would you feel being around a person, sharing some space with somebody that sleeps and lives in these kinds of spots? And specifically, if it would make you uncomfortable to be around people that are living in poverty, that are destitute, that don't have a nickel to their name, I gotta ask you, why are you in the mix, and why are you involved in something like graffiti in the first place? And in this thing that we love called Graff, it seems like most of us, or at least most of the people that I've met through writing, come out of poverty. And if you yourself aren't living in poverty, if you have a good family, if you live in a nice house, why would you come and kick it in a spot like this anyway? But if you decide to come to a spot like this, you gotta know how to act. And if you have your humanity intact, you can come to a spot like this and bring some supplies. You can bring some food, you can bring some water, and it would probably be really helpful to bring some Narcan. And that's because a lot of the people you're gonna find are off really powerful substances. Almost every spot I hit has needles, it has caps, it has things just sticking out of the ground, and it's always been like that. And I've told this story before, but the first time that I hit a yard like this, I was with C4, Dave, and Oro, and as soon as we entered the yard, somebody called out to us. And this dude let us know that he was smoking crack. And we said, hey, thank you. And it was a genuine thank you. We were genuinely happy to hear that my boy was firing up some rocks and he wasn't there to mess with us. And all of us that were in that yard at that time were jaded by substance and substance abuse. My father was an addict, and his best friend that he kicked it with in our house that lived with us was smoking rocks too. So I've been around this since I was a really little kid. And I look at somebody being on something, somebody beaming up is not my business. But there's substances that fools can be on where they're gonna get the idea in their mind that whatever you're doing is their business. And they're gonna step to you, they're gonna approach you, and they might approach you in a hostile manner. And all the gibberish that's in their mind is gonna come out of their mouth. And I don't know if you guys have ever been talking to somebody that was off Scante for like an hour and you were alternating between, I think this fool's gonna kill me, to this fool loves me, to this fool wants to be my best friend, to this fool wants to fight. I've had that conversation on the street where people could have possibly helped me, where somebody could have passed by and intervened. But in a spot like this, there's nobody else except you and this person and whatever they're tripping off. So even if you don't bring some water, even if you don't bring some food, and even if you don't bring Narcan, make sure you bring some respect. And that might not stop a situation from popping off, but maybe it makes the situation less severe. But there's something else to address when it comes to substance in a spot like this, and that is, some of you guys might be off some substances yourself. And just as a personal recommendation, I don't recommend messing with anything stronger than La Mota, and I really wouldn't even mess with it out here in this spot. For some fools, it's gonna chill them out, it's gonna relax them, and really, you should not be relaxed doing graffiti. Graffiti is a very anxiety-inducing activity and you need to stay on point. And I'll be real with you, some of us stay on point 24 hours a day, whether stuff is going on or not, but that's a little bit extra and I wouldn't recommend developing this kind of mentality. But anytime you're outside breaking the law, stay on point. I understand some of you guys are off substances regardless, and you need to do your substance to function in life. And if you have to get high to get by, I understand 100%. I understand how this world can crush you and turn you into dust, but I recommend getting some help. But even if it is just La Mota and you just like to fire something up, you like to burn something, you're in public, you're breaking the law, and you need to stay on point. And even if a spot like this has less of a chance of people walking through it, passing through it, and tripping, that chance is not zero. This spot that I'm in right now is accessible from a street that always has people on it. And fools might have seen me walk into this spot and assume I'm coming up here to bomb and call 911. And especially if you've never been to a spot like this, unless you're ready to accept all these realities, I could get beat up, I could get stabbed with a needle, I can get arrested, I can fall down, bust my ass and break my leg, I wouldn't bother coming. And there's pretty much a 0% chance of all that happening in your house, playing a video game, just sketching in your book. And unless you're ready to confront those realities and you accept that it could be like this for you and you could be coming to a spot that you think is chill and it ends up being anything but, I recommend sticking with those things and staying at home. And when it comes to me personally, I've been coming to spots like this for so long, it's second nature. I'm very comfortable around people that don't have money, that have mental health issues and are on substances because I've been these things at some point in my life. I know how to talk to folks. I know how to talk my way for sure into a confrontation and know how to talk my way out of one. But anytime you find me in a spot like this, you're finding me and seeing me in my element. This is where I belong, this is where I should be, and it's one of the settings I'll always be comfortable in. But even me, with my experience, with my comfort in these spots, and me coming from the same circumstances as the fools you'll find in them, I still gotta stay on point, and I always will. Because at the end of the day, chill spots are only chill in comparison. And a spot like this is a hell of a lot more chill than tagging on the street, but ultimately, the danger is never zero, and you always gotta be ready.